Welcome to Music Sunday. This morning, let us settle into a spirit of worship with a moment of quiet to be followed by the music of Schubert, Franz Schubert. It's an andante from his Sonatina, number 1. And Jagannath Khalsa will play on violin and I will accompany. During this time, you are invited to light a silent candle of joy or sorrow. Welcome.
Good morning. I think this should be all set. I don't usually need a microphone. Colors and Images by Vijaya Sundaram. Colors and images crowd my brain every night before I fall asleep, making it hard to sleep actually, and every morning when I awake. When I play guitar or sing or hear music, I see them all in waves and washes, colors and shapes, opaque and translucent, all slip sliding over each other. I'm grateful to have eyes. I'm grateful for my ears. I'm grateful for hands and feet, hair and skin that can shift every shift of air when someone enters the room. I'm so grateful every day, even when I'm feeling depleted or resentful of some minor thing or annoyed by bad stuff or enraged by the horrors of the world. I'm grateful that in this outline and filled in shape of me that I am, I'm able to see worlds. I wish I could fill the whole universe and see it all. This next reading is Play, with the words by Rick Rubin. Making art is a serious matter. Harnessing creative energy from source, shepherding ideas into the physical plane, participating in the cosmic cycle of creation. The opposite is also true. Making art is pure play.
I got my ticket for the long way round, 2 bottle Pepsi for the way, and I sure would like some sweet company, and I'm leaving tomorrow. What do you say? When I'm gone, when I'm gone.
This is worth the wait.
I got my ticket for the long way round, 2 bottle Pepsi for the way, and I sure would like some sweet company, and I'm leaving tomorrow. What do you say? When I'm gone, when I'm gone, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my hair, you're gonna miss me everywhere. Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. I got my ticket.
Good morning and welcome to the church that sometimes has audio
One with
problems,
the prettiest of
but we will survive. Good morning, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Worcester, a congregation of love, hope, and justice, inspiring people to take on the challenges of a changing world. My name is Diane Mann and I'm part of the choir. We begin by acknowledging that in Worcester, Massachusetts, we work, live, learn, and worship on the seized ancestral homeland of the Nipmuc people who survive and remain active in the Nipmuc Nation. Of this congregation, please do not hesitate to ask. We invite you to fill out one of the cards found in the pews. These cards can be placed in the offering plate or given to one of the ushers or greeters this morning. They tell us what your interests are. For those of you joining us online this morning, we offer you a very special welcome. For safety purposes and so that we might come to know you better, as you are able, please place your name on your video feed. Please take a moment to sign on one of the clipboards that are now being circulated as they are passed. Though you are not obligated to sign, we appreciate your information and will use it for church purposes only. During our service, we offer you an opportunity to share a brief personal joy or sorrow. If you would like yours to be read aloud by the minister or Matt today, please print it on an index card in the pew and drop it in the collection plate when it comes around. These cards will also be posted outside the minister's office to be shared with our friends at other services. For those online, you can place a joy or sorrow in the chat and we will read and share it during the time in the service. In the foyer are listening devices and large print service programs and hymnals for those who may find their assistance beneficial. Please see one of our ushers who will be pleased to assist you. I invite you now to turn your technology to worship mode. Finally, please note the announcements on the back of your program. There will be time for short verbal announcements following the postlude. We are so glad you are here for Music Sunday and hope that this morning is an opportunity for rest, reflection, and rejuvenation. And I'm wondering if we have the audio for the CUPS presentation. Not yet. Maybe later.
Listening by Rick Rubin. When listening, there is only now. In Buddhist practice, a bell is rung as part of the ritual. The sound instantly pulls the participant into the present moment. It's a small reminder to wake up. While the eyes and mouth can be sealed, an ear has no lid, nothing to close. It takes in what surrounds it. It receives, but cannot transmit. The ear is simply present to the world. When we hear, sounds enter the ear autonomously. Knew I was going to have trouble with a word. Autonomously. Often we are not aware of the individual sounds and their full range. Listening is paying attention to these sounds, being present with them, being in communion with them. Though to say that we listen with our ears or with the mind might be a misconception. We listen with the whole body, the whole self. Vibrations filling the space around us, the act of sound waves hitting the body, the spatial perceptions they indicate, the internal physical reactions they stimulate. This is all part of listening. Certain bass sounds can only be felt in the body, not even heard with the ear, not perceived in the ear at all. When you practice listening with the whole self, you expand the scope of your consciousness to include vast amounts of information otherwise missed, and discover more material to feed your art habit. If it's music you're listening to, consider closing your eyes. You may find yourself getting lost in the experience. When the piece ends, you might be surprised where you find yourself. You've been transported to another place, the place where music lives. I invite you now to join in singing, participate in listening to meditation on breathing.
So if you're a person that identifies as someone with a high voice, we're gonna sing the drone, which is down at the bottom of 10009. All right. And then we're gonna add the melody as a layer. And then we're gonna add the descant, and that's for people who identify with having a high voice. And then we're gonna take away that third layer, and then we're gonna take away our melody. And then we're going to take away our drone. And at the very end, you'll see me go like this, and it's an opportunity to breathe in, and an opportunity to breathe out. So in and out. All right, but right now, see if you can just do some breathing in. So. Follow me. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Let's do that again. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. It is now time for change for change. Do we have any shorter people that have some baskets to go around? Now's a great time to do that while this music is playing.
We have a responsive reading now. And the responsive reading is, again, taken from Rick Rubin, his book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And some of it will look pretty familiar. Every nest, every peach, every raindrop, and every great work is different. Some trees may appear to make more beautiful fruits than others, and some humans may appear to compose greater works than others. The taste and beauty are in the eye of the beholder. How does the cloud know when to rain? How does the tree know when spring begins? How does the bird know when it's time to build a new nest? To everything, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to plant, time to reap. A time to laugh, a time to weep, that must be. A time to dance, a time to mourn. These rhythms are not set by us. We are all participating in a larger creative act. We are not conducting. We are being conducted. The artist is on a cosmic timetable, just like all of nature. You'll move it after. Okay. Returning from a deep sleep. Exactly 1 year ago, unbeknownst to me, I was in the midst of a long, deep sleep. We tend to measure sleep in hours, but this sleep was long enough that it was not measured in hours or days, but in weeks and months. I vaguely remember a few dreams during this period and attempting to wordlessly hold the hands of my wife or son or daughter. But I seemed to be in a state of deep unconsciousness for almost 2 months, about 7 weeks. When I awakened, I found myself lying in a strange bed, in a strange place, a rehab center, not the hospital where I had gone to sleep. And I became frightened. There was no one around me that I knew. I was told I had COVID, so I could have no family visitors for 10 days. I wondered at first whether my family even knew where I was or cared. The only sign of familiarity, a vase of flowers from this church, a sign that someone knew where I was. Later, I learned that my wife and children had been there, before they couldn't be there every day, even without me, which made me feel better. But in those first hours, I struggled to figure out where I was, even who I was. I couldn't remember my wife's phone number, so when I was handed a phone, this prompted more frustration. My hands could not trace the numbers, and my brain did not remember them. At first, I did not know how to do things I had done my entire life. Feed myself, walk, sit up. I could not even remember how to pray, except for the initial terror of feeling forgotten. My mind was silent, a blank slate. You should know that as a musician, music has had a constant place in my head since I was a child, and now only silence. Day and night were indistinguishable to me for the most part. I lied in bed, fed by a G-tube. Days were not even punctuated by meals. In a room occupied only by myself and the nurses or assistants who took care of my basic needs. The third night after my reawakening, I recognized something happening in my mind. The musical phrase of Amazing Grace played in my head, and my fingers traced the melody playing in my head in response to each note. A few moments later, I thought, let's change the key and see what happens. And my hand responded in a new key. The words seemed to have been written for me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dances, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The words seemed like a promise. After a time with this song, it seemed like for the whole night, music came flowing back into my consciousness. Scores of pieces, preludes and fugues by Bach, sonatas by Mozart, pieces by Chopin, Beethoven, Rachmaninoff, Debussy, Grieg, reestablishing their place in my brain, within my hands, as a part of my life. Over the course of that night, literally hundreds of songs, hundreds of pieces came back to me. And just like that, I knew that my healing had begun and that music returned to my being. A week later, Jagannath visited, bringing his violin, and played Amazing Grace in my room. As we take up offering for the church, may we too offer thanks for the amazing grace of life itself and music and beauty in the world, and for the grace of friendship and the solidarity of community. An offering.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour
Okay, this reading is Point of View by Rick Rubin. My name is Linda Orcutt. The purpose of art isn't to attain perfection. The goal is to share who we are and how we see the world. Artists allow us to see what we're unable to see, but somehow already know. It may be a word singularly different from our own, or one so close it may seem miraculous as the artist is looking through our own eyes. In either case, the artist's perception reminds us of who we are and who we can be. One reason art resonates is because human beings are so similar. We're attracted to the shared experience held within the work, including the imperfection in it. We recognize some parts of ourselves and feel understood and connected. Whatever our perspective, as long as we share it, unaltered and undoctored, we succeed in art's fundamental purpose. When making art, we create a mirror in which some may see their own hidden reflection.
Now comes the time in our service to share what is on our minds and in our hearts. If you have something to share that is a joy or a concern or sorrow in your life, you may line up on either side of the pews here and come and speak into the microphone so that those who need assistance hearing have an opportunity to hear what you have to say. Do you have any joys or concerns today?
Well, again, my name is Linda, and I'm today sending thoughts to a family I know in Grafton. It's the husband and a wife. The wife has 3 children by a previous marriage. The husband has 3 girls by a previous marriage, and they both have a 4-year-old daughter together. And the daughter, unfortunately, has a string of health issues ever since she's been born, and has been in and out of hospital at a young age. I found out through a Facebook message today that her condition is worsened, and to make it even more heartbreaking, her pet, her 4-year-old dog, also has kidney issues and has spent a lot of times in Tufts Hospital. So if you could hold this family in prayer during this very difficult time. They have so much on their plate right now. I can't even imagine what they're going through.
Good morning, it's Laura, Blessed Beltane, and what beautiful way to wake up the earth and these lovely people singing and playing music. My joy today is my work suffered a flood a year ago, and Thursday we finally opened up the reception area so we can actually see clients. It's hard not to want to hug everybody. But then, of course, the second part of the construction starts where all the technicians like myself start going in pods like our poor receptionists have this whole winter. And I also want to thank everybody that has reached out to me. Sunday evening after church, I got a phone call that my daughter was being rushed to the hospital because she was jumped at Elm Park on her way to go get milk at the store. Her head was beaten in pretty bad, but thankfully the CT scan just showed some minor bruising. So, as you know, many of my daughter's life has not been easy, but she's healing, and just want to thank everybody for reaching out. Thanks.
So I have a great joy. Friday night, the First U sponsored a program that was a presentation and performance by a woman named Cheryl Fay, and it was her one-woman show of Eleanor Roosevelt. And I have to tell you, this woman is blessed because she did such a phenomenal job. I wish everyone could have seen it. And just so you know, she also performs 9 other historical women, including Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And so you might want to look up Cheryl Fay Presents, and she mostly performs in Massachusetts, but she also performs throughout the country. Meet Eleanor. It was just wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sue Nees. I'm trying to get over this pollen season. It's been really difficult. It really threw me through a loop yesterday. I couldn't, when I get out of bed, I had to hold the walls. But I just wanted to say thank you for that rendition of Amazing Grace. Over 20 years ago, that song had a very profound meaning in my life, and I appreciate it, and I cry every time. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry. At IHN, we get to hear a lot of stories. And this week, was hard when we were presented with a mom and a 6-year-old girl. Mom's 37 weeks pregnant. They had fled violence in Brazil, made it to Mexico, crossed the border into Texas, got involved with a Christian organization, got a one-way ticket to Logan, and abandoned there for 3 days before a friend found her, before anybody could speak her language. She'll be bringing home a newborn baby to IHN.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nancy Baffa, and we're an adoptive family. And my huge joy is that today is Nawai's adoption day. He, yay! There's a bigger story here. Excuse me, who are you? That's my husband. Nawai came home he arrived home today from Ethiopia. He was 6 months old. Some of you might remember, we were members of this church, and we waited for years to bring this little guy home. He was beautiful. He was teeny tiny, 11 pounds, little mohawk, just the most beautiful thing you'd ever seen. He grew up in this church. He was dedicated here. He's been to RE every year. He knows this place really well. Okay, so keep that in mind. We celebrate Adoption Day. It's a huge celebration in our house. It's as big as birthdays. And typically we celebrate with Ethiopian food and some kind of gift. This year, Nawai's 13, he got a cell phone. We gave in and he got a phone. He spent most of last night setting it up and was super excited about it. And this morning he woke up and, I quote, said, "This is the wise words of our 13-year-old. I finally have a phone to put to worship mode." He continued, "When I was little, I thought there really was a worship mode on the phone." And then said, "It should be a thing."
Good morning, everyone. Raina. First, I just want to say the music was incredible. I also am very much moved by the song Amazing Grace. As someone, I don't often talk about this, but as someone who's been sober 15 years, it's definitely a song that speaks and rings true to my heart, so thank you. My cousin Natasha, I had mentioned last week, was involved. Her home was in a fire. And I was really moved by everyone who had approached me, but I realized I didn't really give enough information. She is a mom of 3 who is now living with her mom while they try to figure out what to do since the fire because they lost everything. She is a woman that wears a size small clothes and size 7 shoe, and she's looking for her son. Is a big boy. He wears a size 14 even though he's 9, and he wears a size 6 shoe. And some people were asking for that information, and so if there's anything anybody is able to do, I would be happy to meet you, pick it up, and then bring it to her if you're able. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Kim. My daughter is performing in Freaky Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Burncoat High School, and she's very excited. She has a very good role. Her acting is spot on and amazing, but she's very nervous about singing because this is the first time she's had a big singing role. And unfortunately, she got a bad cold last Thursday. So if you could send some thoughts and prayers her way that she gets better. She also has to do her AP exam on opening night Thursday. And she's got rehearsals every day, and she has to miss all of her classes tomorrow in order to do the rehearsals. So it's going to be a very stressful week for the whole family, but especially for her. So give her some thoughts and prayers and hopefully clear up this sore throat because she really needs to sing. So thank you. Her name is Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sean. I'm here for 2 things. One is a prayer together, and secondly, for gratitude for just being here and being part of this community. The prayer that I have is for one of my students. This student, I'd come to find out, had been kicked out of their home by their mom, and I've been giving this kid some food at the end of the day and checking in with them. So I'm just praying that they find more stability in their life, and I want them to keep coming to school and checking in with me. And secondly, I'm just really grateful to be here and starting a new chapter. For me and my 3 kids, I bought a house recently in the neighborhood, and I'm really excited to start a new chapter. Thank you so much.
I'm Deb Van Battenberg. As we come into the first week of May, it is the time to remember May 4th, 70, Kent State. I was there. It's a long time ago, but it changed America. And although 4 people died, other people are still living with the result of that day. Dean Kaler's been in a wheelchair since that day. It's a friend of mine from Cleveland. And just remember, we were protesting because we thought we had a better idea. And often we still protest. So remember, it is our right to say what we think is important. And please this week just send up a little prayer for all of those who were part of the Kent State movement.
Is there anything to share from our online community? No. So thank you all for the things that you have said and have left unsaid.
Another reading from Rick Rubin. This is called Cooperation. The prism of self reflects an aspect of our being into our work. When more than one prism is applied, unexpected possibilities can be unlocked. Whether the perspectives contrast or complement one another, they combine to create a new vision. Let's call this cooperation. Like awareness, cooperation is a practice. The more skillfully we participate in the process, the more comfortable it becomes. Cooperation is comparable to the way a jazz ensemble improvises. A handful of collaborators, each with their own original point of view, work together to create a new whole, acting and reacting intuitively in the moment. You can lead the play or allow yourself to be led, enjoying the surprise of the unexpected. You can solo or lay out completely as best serves the work. Each time we cooperate, we're exposed to different ways of working and problem solving, which can inform our creative process going forward. Cooperation is not to be mistaken for competition. It's not a power struggle to get your way or to be proven right. Competition serves the ego. Cooperation supports the highest outcome. Think of cooperation as giving or getting a boost to see over a high wall. There's no power struggle in this act. You are simply finding the best route to a new perspective. The best results are found when we're impartial and detached from our own strategies. We all benefit when the best idea is chosen, regardless of whether it's ours or not. The synergy of the group is as important, if not more important, than the talent of the individuals. And I have to acknowledge a mistake. It's not an die Sturm that we're going to be doing, that we're going to be performing. It's Auf dem Strom. Makes all the difference, right?
So in translation, the title is On the River.
Aaron looks at the and he says, oh, I have X amount of time, which is not too much today. I did want to say a few more things, if you'll allow me. And we have a few more pieces of the service that are involved. The seed for this church service was planted last Thanksgiving. On October 28th, I wrote in my journal of a dream that I had. Incredible dream last night. I was at an art planning event where we voted with our feet, and groups began move around the theater. It was almost like you could join a flowing river of people moving down the aisle to an incessant, inspiring beat, like a big group dance where the audience becomes the performers. The group was creating art, and art simultaneously that had never been seen before. It was like creating a revolution or realizing that you're in the midst of one. What did this mean? I wondered. One thing I wondered was what I thought we create the world around us by our actions and our choices. We're not simply consumers of what is placed before us. Whether we realize it or not, we play a role in making it happen the way it does. Each of us can have a say in the way the world looks. So much more is possible. The arts can bring us together in ways that we can scarcely imagine, and that would transform our lives and our community. The arts, when fully embraced, can transform our lives. I am fully alive when I am embracing the arts to the greatest extent that I can. Art is alive. We can tap into it. We can channel energy into wonderful streams. It's my feeling that music is beyond the notes. An emotion, a motivating line that makes the music come alive. A motivating line that brings something forth in the ears of listeners, but sparks something across all listeners. In a sense, this dream, I thought, was a way of bringing people into communitas. A sense of community where people are equal. Later, I became aware of a book written by Rick Rubin entitled The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And it seemed like the themes of this book meshed with what I had been dreaming. He says, creativity is a fundamental aspect of being human. It is our birthright. Regardless of whether or not we're formally making art, we're all living as artists. The object is not to make art, it is to be in that wonderful state that makes art inevitable. To Rubin, we exist as creative beings in a creative human universe. We might say that, in a sense, creativity is universal. In this reflection, I wanted to consider creativity, including art and its definition, inspiration, how we open ourselves to inspiration, the creative process, and some thoughts about the importance of creativity in our collective experiences. So, a few things about art. What do we mean when we talk about art? According to Rubin, art is choosing to do something skillfully, caring about the details, bringing all of yourself to make the finest work you can. He says it's beyond ego, vanity, and self-glorification, and the need for approval. Art creates profound connection between the artist and the audience, and through that connection, both can heal. From where do we draw inspiration? He says to hear whispers, the mind must also be quiet. We pay close attention on all fronts. Our antennae sensitively tuned. For the mind to draw inspiration, it wants space to welcome the new. Through this absence, you are inviting energy in. So we create space through meditation, through silence, through practices of awareness, of contemplation, of prayer, virtually any ritual, he says. Epiphanies are hidden in the most ordinary of moments, the casting of a shadow, the smell of a match igniting, an unusual phrase overheard or misheard, a dedication to showing up on a regular basis is the main requirement. Showing up is the main requirement, he says. About the creative process, he thinks of creativity as kind of casting a line to pull back seeds. He says an artist casts a line into the universe. We don't get to choose when a noticing or inspiration comes. We can only be there to receive it. He approaches it as collecting seeds with active awareness and boundless curiosity. It cannot be muscled, though perhaps it can be willed. Artists work through the collection of seeds, through the planting of those seeds, through the watering of those seeds with attention. And then they see if they take root. Placing too much attention on a seed or dismissing it prematurely can interfere with its natural growth. And he says the work reveals itself as you go. We're not looking for the iteration that progresses the quickest or the furthest, but that which holds promise. We focus on the flourishing and wait to prune. Inventions can be discovered by accident, and we allow the seed to follow its own path toward the sun. During the experimentation phase, we're paying attention to this natural reaction of the enthrallment of the body. We follow the heart. Others have used a similar metaphor to describe the creative process. Johannes Brahms, a friend of Schubert's, says the idea is like seed corn. It grows imperceptibly in secret. When I have invented or discovered the beginning of a song, I shut up the book and go for a walk and take up something else. When I come back to it again, it has unconsciously taken a new shape and is ready for me to begin working on it. E.T.A. Hoffman, another composer, says, when I compose, I sit down to the piano and shut my ears and play what I hear. Paul Klee, a painter, in his diary writes, everything vanishes around me and works are born as if out of the void. My hand has become the obedient instrument of remote will. When we face blocks in the creative process, Rubin offers suggestions. To move forward, we can take small steps. Just a line or even a word at a time. We can change the environment. We can change the stakes. We can either raise them or lower them. We can invite an audience. We can alter our perspective. We can write for someone else to play our work. We can add imagery. He says making great art may not always require great effort, but without great effort, you'll never know. If inspiration calls, we ride the lightning until the energy is exhausted. The ride may not last long, but we're grateful for the opportunity. If inspiration does not come to lead the way, we show up anyway. Showing up again reveals itself as critical We make time, space in our lives to hear. Stravinsky says, in order to create, there must be a dynamic force. And what force is more potent than love? We are blessed to create. It is a privilege. Our mission is to complete the project so we can go on to the next and the next. All life, he says, is a work of progress. We're not playing to win, we're playing to play. In the final section, and I want to bring a question. What is the importance of creativity? And what is the importance of creativity in our own lives, each of our lives? And to this, another journal entry came to mind as I was thinking about this. Your mind is always at work. The question, to what end? Towards piling up money, towards gathering fame for oneself? Seems to me as though if we can put our deepest thoughts into improving the lives of our fellow man, if we can devote our thoughts to removing our fellow human beings from the yoke of oppression, we will all be the better for this as a society. If we can stand on the side of peace, of strong gentleness, maybe we can have that rare vision that develops into reality. If we can see a way and make a way out of no way, we will have succeeded in the true goal before us, birthing a new role in the world, birthing a new world before us, in which we treat each other with respect and gentleness, in which we show our love and respect for the animals around us, and our understanding of the need for balance between our own needs and the very life of this sphere, Earth, on which we rely for support. The true creativity is not only about the arts, important though they may be. It is about creating this new world with our fellow human beings in a way that reflects our highest aspirations and our deepest longings, making our own heaven on earth. May it be so, and blessed be. There is not going to be a litany today. We are going to sing the final hymn, and then we're going to have the final choral kind of postlude. So the hymn is a very brand new hymn, and we will hear it played by our remarkable horn player, and then we will hear it once by our remarkable soprano here, one of our remarkable sopranos here, and then our choir will sing it, the second verse. And then if you all could please sing verses 3, 4, and 5 together with the choir. Greatly appreciate it. You'll know it by then.
Yay! Oh, hi everyone. I'm Laura Rossbach. So honored to be here with you all and be part of the beautiful music that is this Music Sunday. I have a poem by Hafiz to read. It is, I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy. My heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance the sacred dance of life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift others up. O sacred one, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul, that we might dance and that our dancing might be contagious. Blessed be.
Love is
Yeah.